Woo, 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 whoop, 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 whoop. Here we are. Can I see you? World, hello. The Laura Shepherd Show. We're at the Driving Creek Railway on a cloudy day. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen like we knew it would. Oh yeah, well things will change and leaves will fall. It'll rain, transform before your eyes. No time for chasing. Why me? Why'd that happen to me? Oh, you never know just how life is gonna go. So you jump in your boat and row, row, row. Jump in your boat and row, row, row. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen like we knew. Got a little breeze blowing. Oh yeah, you gotta aim high and go for your pie in the sky. Go ahead and trust yourself. Everything rights itself. Oh yeah, well, watch the stream. Go ahead now, follow your dream. Jump in your boat and row, row, row. Jump in your boat and row, row, row. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen like we knew it would. Woo! Okay, so where we are here, we're at the Driving Creek Railway, which is actually a functioning railroad, so you may hear the train come in. And the other thing that happens here is there's a zip line. So I would like to invite somebody up here to talk. Rainer, come please talk to me about life here at the railway. Look, you have your fancy jacket in case it rains. I'm going to stick that up there. Dude. How are you, Rainer?
I'm good, thank you.
And we have an audience member in the backyard, in the back. Hi, audience member. We might need you for a timekeeper, you know. Can I borrow your watch? I would love to borrow your watch. I have a clock, a very important clock that I use to keep time, but it says it's 5 o'clock, and let me tell you, it is nowhere near 5 o'clock. Thank you. See, who knew that that's what you were here for? That was Naomi Pond. She was the first person I ever stayed with here in the Coromandel. Rainer?
Hello.
You took me on a really fun zip lining drive. So, what made you want to be a zip line, or how'd you get being a zip line guide?
How did I get drawn into being?
Yeah, how'd you end up doing that?
Actually, well, it was quite interesting because I really wanted to do this in the first place anyway. But the opportunity came up when a family member actually works for the council and said, hey, sooner or later there's going to be a zip line in town, and would you like to be a part of it? And I said, yeah, of course. And then, yeah,
There you are.
Here I am, yeah.
And you are, you're originally from Auckland.
Originally from Auckland, yes.
And you actually speak the native language here.
Te reo Māori?
Te reo Maori.
Yeah.
Can you tell the people how you met me? Just give us 5 or 6 sentences in your native tongue.
No reira, I te rawa ki I hari aho I a Laura ki runga I tā mātou zipline me ki mo tōna wā tuatahi. I reira I tūtaki māua, tōru holder, kua pahure, tino hoa māu I nāi. No reira, kua pātaia māku kei noho I runga I tōna atamire tēnei rā, no reira he mihi nui tēnei ki aia, no reira kia ora Laura.
Kia ora. I can say kia ora, which means sort of hello, right?
Yeah, and thank you.
And thank you. But then there's also the word ta. People say ta for thank you sometimes, do they?
Oh.
Or is that slang?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
You
wouldn't say that.
No. Okay. Wow. So did you grow up speaking Maori? Or
yeah. Well, Te Reo Māori was my first language, meaning like I could only read or write in Te Reo Māori. Like obviously I could speak English and I could understand English, but reading and writing in English was not taught to me until I was about 13, 14 years old.
Oh, where were you living? Like this was in Auckland?
This was in Auckland, yeah, but my school was fully merged in Te Reo Māori
Oh.
until
okay.
you got to like year 7.
And your parents spoke.
My mum, no, I was the only one in my family who spoke Te Reo Māori.
And why
until
why
my-
they want you
yeah.
to do that?
I don't know. My mum sort of wanted me to speak Māori, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's good for your brain to learn several languages. So.
Yeah, and I'm definitely thankful for it too.
Yeah.
It's benefited me a lot more than I say has with my siblings anyway.
Okay, so here you are. You came up to be a zipline guide, and I must admit you do a great job. You were really pleasant, and I'm sure you've done
really?
it before.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Oh,
but you made
that's
it
nice.
seem fresh.
Oh, cool.
You know, because
Oh, that's nice
so
to hear. Thank
you and Saskia were. Saskia was your
Yeah, she's
other.
awesome.
She's
Yeah.
awesome, and I'll talk a little bit more about her later because she has another
amazing.
job here at the railway.
She's
But
awesome.
now, the thing is that you are not just, and I mean just, you are not just a zipline driver. You are a train driver in training.
No, yeah, yeah, I am. No, I am actually. That's cool.
How do
That's
you-
another awesome job as well.
How do you become, like, did you just ask, or you got hired to do the zipline? How did?
I'm not too sure because they've been looking for guides, train drivers as well, for a little while now, and I just was real interested ever since I started as being a zipline guide, wanting to learn how to drive the trains, and then one of our bosses, Neil, approached me if I would like to learn, and I put my hand up. I said, of course, I'd love to learn how to drive the trains. And so I've been very, very excited ever since, actually. So
And-
I'll be maybe one of the only women besides Wendy, who is our train driver as well. She's awesome. So I'll be, I guess, the two of us female train drivers now. Especially me being a little bit younger, which is quite cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think that the passengers will take you seriously?
I hope so. I mean, I'm just here to share Barry's story just like any other driver would. So, I mean, yeah, I hope so, yeah.
And the trains are all made here on site. That's exciting. For those of you who want some more information, I guess the Driving Creek Railway website, and
Yeah,
if you're a Patreon member, you'll see a little bit of before and after. But the trains are actually built here on the site. And so, what do you have to do to learn how to drive one? Like, how hard can it be? It just goes down the track.
Oh yeah, you would assume so. Yeah, no, there's a bit of a neck to it actually. They're all diesel trains for starters, so you can store them for one. So it's not very fun if you store them.
You can stall them.
You can store them, yeah. You can derail them as well. So it means that the trains can sometimes come off the track. So you got to learn how to manage things like that. So safety procedures. Yeah, sometimes people think you push a button, but no, there's levers, and then there's mirrors, and then
Mirrors and levers.
and then there's back and forward motions going on, and it's a lot to think about before your first day anyway.
And how do they go about training you to do this?
Well, it takes a lot. Actually, you got to go through a lot of paperwork at first. Go through, make sure you understand all the signals, and make sure you're talking to the right people and things like that. So, making sure you're communicating with other trains, because we run more than one train on the rail all at one time. So, making sure you're communicating with other trains, with base, with everybody who's actually doing maintenance on the track. So, it takes a fair bit to actually learn how to.
So it seems like that as a zipline guide, you're also asked to do some maintenance on the zipline.
Well, yes, yeah, of course, yeah. Just like any other job, you got to do cleaning, maintenance. I don't know, making sure everything's safe and just perfect to run for everyday use, pretty much.
And so, are you going to be expected to do maintenance on the track?
Not necessarily the track, but the trains. So servicing the trains, you'd have to learn how to do all that. So if you're the first driver of the day, you've got to service all 3 trains.
Service a train. What is it? How do you service a train?
You've got to check the oil, the water, the horns, the gates, the doors, the locks.
Yeah. 'Cause
Everything.
you can't just send people on a.
You can't just send people on a train and nothing works. No.
Oh, and how long is it going to take you to how long is it going to take you to become a train driver? Is there a particular amount of time, or?
It kind of varies because at the moment there's about 3 other train drivers with me learning how to drive the trains at the moment. So we're all going to be, obviously, have separate times of driving the trains. If they can teach us all together, then they will. But if there's enough time for someone to just teach us individually, that will be better. But obviously we're still really busy, so we're trying to do this amongst still running a tight ship, and every day people come in through as well. So.
Right, so on the winter time it would slow down a little bit?
Yes, it does slow down a little bit. I mean, we're still getting people through during the winter because we run all year round, which is awesome. But then that'll give us more time as well. So that's when we do majority of our maintenance.
You know, when we were sitting here getting ready for the show, one of these beautiful wood pigeons, what is the name?
A kiriru.
Kiriru came and sat on the fountain behind us, and I'm here at the Driving Creek Railway being a little studio potter, and I keep finding, if you've seen some of the shows and some of the ads, you've seen that I'm like a feather person, and I just wanted to show you this little fella that I made, and this is a kiriru,
Nice.
and this is one of these feathers. Now, unfortunately, this one was squished on the side of the road, and so I've made this in its honor. It hasn't been fired yet, but kind of looks like one.
That is cute.
If I learn to say it, kiriru,
Kiriru, yeah.
kiriru, I think I'm saying it, and then people just repeat it like I didn't say it
no,
right.
I think, yeah, you said that.
And you know, we were talking about going down the train with Saskia, and she also, I've noticed, has the unpleasant job of emptying some of the traps. And I saw her the other day, and she was emptying a rat trap, and we were talking about how it's important to trap the pests that are destroying the native wildlife. But we both felt sad for the dead rats, so I made this little rat as an honor to the dead rats. And so now I have an honor to a dead kiriru.
Yep.
And a dead rat. Then I saw a dead possum on the other side of the road, and I thought, that's it. I'm done. All right. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day
Oh, no, that's okay.
to come and talk to us. And I'm going to take this from you. Now you find someone else that will come talk to me, maybe.
Okay.
And that's off you go.
All right.
And
Just
thank
find
you.
someone who will talk to you?
Well, yeah, Frederick or James
Oh, okay.
or
No,
someone,
okay,
anyone,
yeah. All
anyone
right.
who'll talk to me.
Okay.
They'll talk to me.
For how long?
So, you know, for a few minutes. Okay. So I've had the privilege of being here as a resident potter, and I've been making little pottery bits in the Coromandel for 15 years. Usually I make little small ones like this, and just out of my hands. And I've had the honor of being a resident here at the railway. And when you're a resident, they give you a little space in the corner so that you can pot every day, and you do a little bit of a work exchange for that. And so because I'm working here instead of in other people's kitchens where I have to make something really small and then clean up after myself, I've been able to make things a little bigger. So this is one of my newest things get bigger when you get a chance, and I make things that are inspired by the people and things around me. Those of you who saw the show last week, you might have remembered Cindy Elger that was doing our live painting, and if you're from the Coromandel, you've seen her paintings, and she always has these little angels floating in the air. And I was hanging out with her, and I made this little angel. So this is shows the influence of this town. And then here that I'm up at the railway, I thought I had to make a little railway car. Now this one hasn't been fired yet, but it will one day. This is my little railway car. And we've set up here, we've invited some people to be some guests. Do you want to talk about anything, Naomi? She doesn't. Okay, we have an audience member, but she's not willing to speak about anything. That's all right. We have some other speakers. Now, if you've been following, you may understand that years ago I did a music video up here, and the song was Hard Times, and it was recorded here at the Driving Creek Railway when Barry Brickell, who was the inventor, Barry Brickell, built this railway by hand. He was interested in three things. He was interested in railways, he was interested in conservation, and he was interested in pottery. And this piece of land was a barren field, and he came and planted thousands and thousands of trees. Brings tears to my eyes that somebody could reforest a whole mountain with native bush, and there's the beautiful native birds come here. Anyway, so the song, this song is called Hard Times, and it was written in Fredericksburg, Virginia, near a train track, but it seemed like this would be the place to actually do a video of it, because this is the cutest little train ever. So here you go. Hard times, they go clickety-clack. Hard times, roll right past. Hard times, finger will pass with a clickety-clack of a railroad track. Hard times are fading into the past. Hard times are fading into the past. Trains, woo! You hear the trains going by? Woo-hoo! Roll on with a clickety-clack. Roll on round the bend. Roll on round the bend with a clickety-clack of a railroad track. Rolling on with the wind in my back. Rolling on with the wind in my back. Hard times. Hard times, they go clickety-clack. Hard times, roll right past. Hard times, finger will pass with a clickety-clack of a railroad track. Hard times, they're fading into the past. Hard times, they're fading into the past. Train stop with your clickety-clack. Train stop, I wanna get on board. Train stop, you got to carry me towards the clickety-clack of the railroad track. The next stop is Easy Street. Your next stop is Easy Street. Board up. James, have you got a minute to talk to us?
I've got a
This
minute.
this is a hard-working place. Sit down real quick, James. James, you're originally from Australia, is that correct?
Yep,
You're
yep.
originally from Australia?
From the Gold Coast.
From the
Indeed.
Gold Coast. And what brought you to the Coromandel?
My family. My family lives here in the Coromandel
Why'd they come here?
because it's great.
Oh, so but they came from the Gold Coast. Did you grow up on the Gold Coast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up on the Gold Coast. My dad moved over and started the business doing accommodation.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I try and come back each year
Oh,
to visit, get some work in.
yeah. And
Yeah.
and they so you started working at Biscuit, which is a little teeny cafe. Tell us what is Biscuit?
Biscuit's it's a cafe that we
Yep.
have here, supplying the goods, the best brownies in the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
of New Zealand.
For those
Strictly
trained people that come.
For the trained people.
That's right,
Absolutely.
you're the trained.
Absolutely.
And you are a Biscuit employee, but you are something else too.
Yep.
Okay, so you're a quarterback, right? Come on. This is cracking me up.
Indeed.
Dude is a quarterback. You really play football?
Yeah.
Like, let me see.
Yeah.
Let me see. What's this?
Like this one.
Like, this is a
This
real
one here.
football. Like,
This is a real
not,
football.
not soccer football.
No.
Not rugby football.
No.
Like American football.
American football.
So how does a guy from the Gold Coast working at the Biscuit, why are you a football player?
Well, I started playing when I was 15 on the Gold Coast.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up playing Australian football, which
Is
is
it-
our sort of unique style of football.
Is it like American football or like rugby?
It's kind
or-
of like rugby crossed with soccer.
Yeah, okay.
So it's a little bit different. And then I watched the Super Bowl. I come home from school one day and there was a Super Bowl on. Chicago Bears versus Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah.
And then I was hooked.
That was it.
So I just had a Google search, found the team, and then went and joined up. Our local team, the Gold Coast Stingrays. Best team ever.
Yeah. And so I guess you were good at it. I mean, did you play other sports before then?
Little bit of rugby, AFL for about 6 or 7 years, and then and into the American football. So it's good. It's a growing sport in Australia. It's far from professional sort of thing. There's no NFL, but
you're the quarterback.
I'm the quarterback.
Oh, that makes you important. When does your season start back up?
Season's going to start in August. I'll play. I head over to Brazil and play this year in Brazil.
For what team?
Juventude FA. They're a team in the south of Brazil.
A Brazilian team.
Yeah.
And how did you get recruited for that?
Europlayers.com is a website, sort of like a scouting website, I guess. You can upload your film and then the teams have their profile and they have a look, and then you contact each other and then work out a deal.
And do you actually get paid to play football?
Getting this contract's just on performance sort of thing, so I get paid per touchdown, per interception when I'm playing defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
do you expect to make more than you do at the Biscuit? I mean,
hopefully. We'll see.
We'll see.
It won't be hard. No.
Oh my God! And you guys you're all padded up when you're playing.
Yeah, full kit.
And in the States, we're talking a lot about how dangerous football is with concussion and stuff. Are you not worried about concussions for yourself?
Yeah, I'm pretty worried. I'm actually quite concerned. Reading all the studies and things.
Right.
But it's just sort of one of them risks,
Risk you got to take. You could fall off the train. You could scald yourself with burning coffee.
Could do. The plane could dive into the ocean on the way to Brazil.
On the way to Brazil.
But I'll have my helmet on, so I'll be all right.
You travel with your helmet. Do you do the zip line in your helmet?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
full kit for everything.
That's too funny. Do you feel like it's important for people to play games? I mean, like for people to have spectators. I mean, because it's fun for you to play.
Yeah.
Is it more fun when you're being spectated upon?
Yeah. For sure.
And then the people that come, they are thankful that you do it, I guess.
Yeah. It's much nicer to have a big environment, a bit of an atmosphere to play in. Yeah, it's very, very cool.
And what team did you play with last?
Last year I was playing with the Dortmund Giants in Germany.
In Germany?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, it's like, who knew that football... Okay, all you American kids, football.
It's worldwide.
You can get to the Super Bowl or you can get to Germany.
Yep.
And Brazil.
Absolutely.
Oh, my goodness.
Absolutely.
Do you have anything else you want to share with us about, football?
You should come to New Zealand and play football.
Do they have teams here in New Zealand?
Yeah, they got teams here in New Zealand. Some in Auckland, some in Wellington. Come, all you Americans, come and grow the sport. It's good. It's good.
I guess there's an opportunity for people here because there's probably fewer local people to pick from, right? So they have to source their teams from out of the country.
Yep.
The team that you're going to play with in Brazil, do you have any idea where are all the other players coming from?
At the moment, just Brazil, but all over Brazil. But yeah, I'm yet to find out who else is coming. They're releasing more and more. But I'm yet to find out.
Okay, well, I appreciate you taking time out of your biscuit. Thank you, biscuit owners, for letting your biscuit boy come talk to me. James, the biscuit boy. Hey, no, I'm just. We crack each other up all day. What is your full name, James?
Full name?
Full name. Name, rank, serial number.
This could get me in trouble.
Oh.
My name's James Castle.
James Castle.
James Castle.
That's a good thing. And then how long have you had this particular football? It looks all...
This football, I've only had this about 6 months.
Well,
My good friend Robert gave it to me just as I was leaving Germany.
Ah.
This is right here, German Football League.
German Football League. Do you see that? I don't know if you can see that or not, folks, but there it is. This is an official German football field. Yeah, because it looks, so it's new to you, but it looks pretty worn.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we played with it quite a bit. So.
Did you score any touchdowns with that one?
Not with this particular ball.
No.
Okay. No,
but
this wasn't game ball.
It wasn't game ball.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for stopping in and talking to me.
Thanks for having me.
If you see Frederick, send him up here.
Yep.
Yeah, we're doing this show live, but everybody that's on the show works here, so we got to grab them when we can.
All right. Beauty. Send them over.
Send
a customer over.
Send a customer over to talk.
Tell them how good the brownie is.
Yeah, send a customer over if they feel like talking. You know. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Last week we were sitting under the peaches. Here we're sitting under the apple tree. These are basically cooking apples that fall off this tree. They're a little bit bird chewed up because there's so many birds living in this environment that there's food falling off the trees for them, and you really can. One person really can make a difference. You can build a railway, you can make giant pots, you can reforest a hillside, you can send trains up and down. Hey, Cindy, come on over and chat with me for a minute.
Oh, goodness.
I was talking about you earlier. Cindy happens to be in the building. How are you, my dear?
I'm good, thanks. Just been out hiking.
You've been out hiking?
Yeah, it was just beautiful, really still.
I was telling. Oh, it was. Sorry, I interrupted you. It was beautiful and still. And...
Oh, the harbour was just mill pond, and yeah, there were lots of birds out because it's just had a little bit of rain.
I was telling everybody about this little angel that I made that's inspired by the angels that you sometimes paint in your the sleeping angels you paint in the sky of your paintings.
Oh, it's beautiful, Laura.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful. It's one of my best paintings. I did one of it was in honour of mothers all over the world. It was a mother angel holding a baby in the clouds.
Yeah, and there it is.
Yeah, really similar, really same angle.
How am I doing?
It looks like it's got a baby. Like, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm not. I've lost Naomi's
cheers.
watch. Oh, there it is. No, here's Naomi's watch. Naomi was kind enough to lend me her watch because my clock isn't working.
So you're enjoying your time at Driving Creek?
Yeah, I am.
Making this, I saw this lovely menagerie of things that you've given birth to.
Yeah, because a lot of them have been inspired by you and your anthropomorphizing of animals. This little frog.
Oh, what a beauty.
That's a little frog
he's
playing
come
a
across.
drum. Yeah.
He's so smooth, Laura. He's very beautifully
It's
done.
kind of funny, but all the
gorgeous.
animals doing human stuff are inspired by you, Cindy. Aww.
Well, I'm inspired by wonderful people like Beatrix Potter. It all
Potter,
goes round, doesn't it? Just over and over. But there's something, incredible about sharing our lives with animals and realising how similar we all are. And like about my cat the other day, when I was like to myself, the cat came in to me.
Yeah, because the cat was so surprised. We decided at the party that it was fun to just make loud noises, random loud noises, and
when I got home, my cat was like, "Oh my gosh, you've learned to speak my language. You've been away learning. I'm here. You've come back to me speaking." And he was happy about that.
And you actually grew up here on the Coromandel.
I did. I was born here.
You were born here.
So yeah, blessed to have Barry as a guiding light for all things sculptural and making clay out of what is in the ground already without having to go anywhere to get it. Really, mix a few ingredients and you've got the best building clay just about on the planet, except for what maybe was this Australian clay, which is now just about used up, called Riraraku. It was another good building clay, hand building for garden sculpture. But I don't know if Laura's taking the show and showed it any of these beautiful sculptures. We're surrounded by
There we are, surrounded by
a shroud of Barry Brickell terracotta sculptures, which terracotta is a red clay which is dug up here locally, mixed with river sand, and it builds just very nicely. A lot of clays, when you try to build with them, they just, no matter if they've got very low water content, they still kind of collapse, whereas this clay, you can, with a bit of patience and coaxing, you can keep building quite high, and so it lends itself to sculptural
Right,
work.
sculptures that are, this tall.
Yeah.
Now, when you were growing up, were you aware of Barry? How did you?
Oh yeah, no, he was always there, because there was always a busload of tourists going past once he got the train big enough for people to come and ride the train. But and even with my children, like I used to come up here. My sister started the first sort of communal veggie garden up here, and so I'd come up here and help her with the veggie garden, and Barry was eternally grateful because he was too busy building the train line to do his own veggie garden, but beautiful soil for doing it. So she was lucky enough to be the gardener in residence, and so I watched it all unfold really as the years went past. He was sort of this example of blazing your own trail and doing your own thing. He'd be up there. You'd see him, if you're lucky enough, you'd find him early in the mornings in the shortest shorts.
Shortest shorts, I know he did.
If you're lucky, he had the shorts on. And he would be sweating away, digging, making the trail, the train tracks a bit longer every day pretty much. He was a stickler, apart from days when he was firing or taking pots on his boat to Auckland. He'd have these great stories of filling the little boat up with pottery to sell in Auckland.
He would take his pottery by boat
to Auckland. Yeah.
Why not just drive to Auckland?
Well, I don't know. I think he liked the challenge. I think he liked being able to take more than you could put in the car. I think he liked being a bit of time away on the sea, a bit of time with. He was a recluse, so he enjoyed time on his own.
So he sailed himself. He was his own captain.
He was his own captain, and away he'd go, and then he'd come back a few days later, rich and happy. Well, richer, but he was always. I think from the get-go, the trains made money for him once he got it done.
Yeah, do you hear that in the background? That's a train coming in, I think.
It's still doing it, even though he's gone. Yep. So yeah, he was sort of this example of be yourself. Again, the anthropomorphism thing was one of his things. I think it came through by osmosis to me, making lots of dog sculptures. Particularly, he was Chinese Year of the Dog, but I think most people spend a bit of time with the dog, if not theirs, their neighbours or their friends. And
yeah, look, I have a little dog that I made.
Yeah.
This is, who this little dog is? This is Riley.
Oh.
Riley.
Oh, it looks like Riley too. Yeah.
He's a little longer than Riley, but Riley is a little dog that comes up here to the railway from time to time.
Little terrier. And
yeah.
He's been a good possum killer in his time.
Possum killers, I know. And so we were talking a little bit about the trapping of the rats and the possums.
Yeah.
Because they are really.
Oh yeah, they're getting rife, and stoats,
because
there's a lot of bird life. Yeah,
possums, rats, and they all eat the native birds.
Big time, yeah. Sadly, because there's so much growth with the climate that there's a lot of bird life, so there's a lot of food for these guys, and all these native birds haven't evolved with predators, so they're very tame and trusting, and so they're sitting ducks for these guys. Wildcats as well are pretty bad. People do let their kittens go in the bush when they have too many occasionally.
Oh no, people let their cats go in the bush? No way.
Yeah, it happens. Irresponsible people don't know what to do with their kittens, can't face drowning them, and so sadly
turn them loose.
Turn them loose on the side of the road and hoping someone will come and get them, but 10 to 1 they just go bush and become hunters, and sometimes they get found. I remember one of my favourite cats was Woody Stern Gaze, found from the side of the road with a stern gaze.
With a Woody Stern Gaze?
Woody Stern Gaze after Woody Guthrie.
Oh.
The side of the road.
How did you even know about Woody Guthrie?
Oh, Woody Guthrie was yeah, everybody knew about Woody Guthrie and people like that. This is hippie town. Well, it was in the 60s and 70s.
And so did you start doing pottery?
Yeah, I did. I actually majored in sculpture at art school, and at the time there was a lot of debate over what was better, craft or art.
Craft or art?
Yeah, and coming from the Coromandel where it's full of craftspeople primarily, I was like riled up about the insinuation that art was higher than high art was the thing that we had to aim for at art school, and we were being channeled towards that. So I kind of rebelled and got the best clay I could find and made some sort of Michelangelo-esque figures, embracing and so on, out of clay.
Wow.
And they quite liked my rebel attitude and gave me rebel marks.
Oh, well, good. Yeah.
Yes. But I didn't. Unbeknown to me, the rebel thing was more valuable
Than art.
than going high art with high art materials.
Are you still a rebel?
Well, no. My corners have been moulded off me a little bit.
Your corners have been rounded.
I've learned to make things that people like, but I've learned that if I make likable things, I like them too easily as well. So it's kind of I've learned to make things that are easier to live with, and for myself and buyers. And if you make things that are not appealing to people, then you end up with a lot of unpleasant clutter.
Unpleasant clutter.
Yeah, art clutter.
Art clutter.
Art constipation.
Constipation. Oh my goodness. All
So
right.
it's good to make things that easily travel on and go find homes elsewhere.
Yeah, your floating angels seem to be popular.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's my belief that angels exist in the form of people, mothers and other people like Laura here, coming from afar and inspiring as well, and supporting and bringing good cheer. Well, here in the Coromandel, there's been a bit of an exodus by death and by other means of interesting people, so you've really got to rely on interesting other arty people visiting to keep life buoyant.
So that's why we have these artists in residency here, and we have these people come, and the summertime people come and there's a lot of jobs. The winter, I guess, is a little more quiet, but
no, winter's a good time to make stock for the summertime, because there's always people wanting to buy Christmas presents and interior decoration and exterior, garden things in the summertime, but they do disappear in the winter. So,
All right. Well, Cindy, I so thank you for coming and speaking to me again. I'm going to let you go.
It's an honor. It's wonderful. I didn't expect to speak. I was expecting to be part of the audience here
You were
today.
going to be part of the audience, and then somehow we have, the very Coromandel-like. Frederick is supposed to be here, but he's not, and so-and-so is supposed to be here, but they're not. They haven't shown up, or something has happened.
Well, people are very shy of cameras. And thank you, Laura. You've actually broken me out of that mold.
Well, see, you did good. Thank you.
You did very well.
You're amazing.
Well,
thank you for spending
the
your
transition
time
that
here.
I would never believe 3 weeks ago would happen.
Yay!
That I
Well,
could sit in front
there
of
you
a camera and actually talk.
And actually talk. You
Yeah.
did a great job. I'm going to
Very
sing another little song,
Neat.
and if Frederick shows up, we'll get him.
What does Frederick do?
Frederick, he works here, but he's also, he's one of those people that works here but does other things. He's so exciting.
Yeah.
We haven't.
Pretty much everyone in Coromandel has 2 or 3 different pastimes and occupations and pastimes. Oh, very good. Laura.
All right. Well.
Okay, I'll listen to the song.
Yeah. This is a little song, little train song. Will not stop this train I'm on. I will not stop this train. I will not stop this train I'm on. It's a freight train of love. Freight train of love. The train pulled in load. I jumped on board. The freight train of love. The freight train of love. Ooh. Friday night at the freight yard bar, I was gonna drink alone, but I didn't riding the train, riding the train, riding the train of love. We're riding the train, we're riding the train, we're riding the train of love. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, the fountain's coming on behind us. Things are popping up around here. The water seems to be back on. Ooh. We sat there for an hour or two and we talked about golf. We drank a bit, we laughed a lot. Things sure got hot. Things sure got hot. The train pulled in, Lord, we jumped on board, and things sure got hot. Things sure got hot. The tracks were smooth and the seats were fine. Lord, they reclined. Lord, they reclined. Get ready for a little geography. Got Gainesville, Waldo, Jacksonville, and then you cross the state line. Cross the state line. Ooh. Rocking in the motion, said it right, and then we found the switch to the ceiling light. We made out the rest of the night. We're riding the train, we're riding the train, we're riding the train of love. We're riding the train, we're riding the train, we're riding the train of love. Woo-hoo! Well, looks like the train has landed at the station. Seems like Frederick is not going to make it up. I'm going to give you all a little bit of a see around here. We have the fountains coming on. This is where the Tuohys come to drink. These are some of Barry Brickell's sculptures. They're quite tall, taller than me. I don't know what you can see, but there I am, and there it is. A lot of his sculptures had this, now these all have lichens on them. They had these beautiful, womanly shape. And the fact that they were made here with this amazing clay from the Coromandel. Here's some clay right here. I was using it to hold up the camera. Now my friend Henry said, "Oh Laura, you're doing all that great, but you should try and make a sculpture with just one hand instead of both." So that's my my goal for the day, is to make maybe a little sculpture just using one hand. Oh, I don't know. Might take a little while, but you get the idea. A little pinchy. Whee! Oh, one-handed. One-handed. Kind of looking like a guitar player all of a sudden. Here's a bit of anthropomorphizing that's going on. Look at that. All right, here are all the apples on the trees, on the ground, because wherever you go, another one. Somebody has left. And one of the things I really appreciate around here is all the detail. Like this is the building that they built to house the zip liners. But everything has just got a bit of beauty to it because we can't help ourselves here. And so this is just a little bit of a view here of the terminal. And up there, the toppest window that you can see is where my little studio is. And people come here for the railway. I'm going to finish this broadcast, and if God is willing, I'll be back in Gulfport on next week. I might get stuck here in the Coromandel. Oh, look, the birds are up here. Birds are already drinking out of the fountain. Do we know what kind of bird that one is?
That here is bellbird.
A bellbird?
Singer, yeah.
A beautiful singer.
Native bird.
Look, there he went.
Really,
like, proof. Native birds. Okay. Whoop, whoop. Thanks for joining the show. Bye-bye.